All right, what is going on, guys? Got a breakdown for this Cage Warriors 148 card. This one's the co-main event at light heavyweight. It's for the vacant light heavyweight title. We got Modestas Bukauskas taking on Chuck Campbell. Campbell, 38 years old, going to have a half-inch advantage in reach. He's an inch taller. Bukauskas, of course, a UFC veteran. So I will start with Campbell. Really cool story. His age isn't listed here on Tapology, but I believe he's 38, possibly 39. Trains out of AKA. And yeah, made his professional debut in 2018. I guess the pandemic kind of sidelined his MMA career, but in 2022, this will be his fifth appearance in the cage. Um, and it's been going very good. Cage Warriors. He beats Elijah Harris, who 41 years old. Didn't have much for him. Kind of two guys in a similar boat there. And Campbell looked very good, mixed it up well. He's got very heavy hands, stiff punches. Doesn't mix it up all that well. Doesn't really throw a ton of volume, but he picks his shots very well, accurate and powerful. He mixes in his wrestling well. He's obviously at a very high level wrestling gym at AKA. I don't like you watch his fight tape and he's clearly newer to MMA, but there's just like a randomness to his style that makes him fun to watch. He doesn't really show an ability to like chain wrestle, but he has gone for opportune takedowns, and Bukauskas is fairly susceptible to takedowns. So we'll see what happens in this one. But yeah, his last time out, awesome win against Andy Clamp. That one was just a month ago in November. Catches him coming in with a left hook. Had him hurt bad. Finishes the fight shortly after against Trey Williams. Had to face some adversity in that one. I mean, that cage is small as shit. And that Uriah Faber's A1 combat. He had his gas tank pushed in that one, and he responded well. The third round was his best round. They gave him the unanimous decision there, and I can see it. I mean, the most consequential shots of the fight were landed by Campbell, but it kind of looked like Williams won the first round. He was winning the second round, but then he got rocked at the end, so I guess you can give that round to Campbell. Third one was clearly Campbell. I thought had him hurt bad. And this is the thing with Chuck Campbell. It's he doesn't throw a whole lot of combinations, doesn't throw a ton of volume, but when he lands heavy and accurately, and he shows a very good ability of just getting on his opponent right away. There's something to be said for that. It sounds like it should be like a common sense thing, but it isn't always. If he has his opponent hurt, he really presses the action and tries to get him out of there. And just yeah, the power is very impressive from Chuck Campbell. Defense, obviously like there's gonna be some holes in this game. He started his career so late. He doesn't take leg kicks well, but his takedown defense very good. There's more good than bad with Chuck Campbell, and he's just kind of a fun fighter, fun story. It'll be interesting to see what he can do here, and of course, Modestas Bukauskas, UFC veteran, back off of that knee injury against Khalil Roundtree. I forget what you call it, but it's like when they like kick the knee. That is what put him out in that one. He was getting battered anyway. His nose was broken. But yeah, he had to get surgery on that one. Ended up getting cut from the UFC. Went 1-3 in the UFC with a weird Andreas Michailidis retires after the first round, and of course he comes back. But I keep saying of course in this video. I don't know why, but yeah, Bukauskas, his UFC run did not go as planned. He got absolutely battered by Jimmy Crute on a counter. Against Michael Olajaychak, he looked pretty good in that fight. I thought it could have gone either way. So he ends up on the wrong side of a split decision there, but good opponent. He looked pretty good in that one. And then against Khalil Roundtree, A1 Khalil Roundtree showed up on that night, and he just kicked the shit out of him. And sadly, he ended up getting his knee hurt. But before that, he was the Cage Warriors light heavyweight champion before getting to the UFC. Had a lot of finishes. Some of these fights in Cage Warriors for him were a little bit dicey. He is very susceptible to getting taken down. His get up ability is decent, but sometimes he just looks to try to tie his opponents up on the ground so that the refs will stand him up. Some of these refs in the UK, man, I mean, Mark Goddard and Dan Mozahedi, these guys are so quick on the trigger with with standing fighters up, and he kind of benefited from that in a couple of these earlier fights. But yeah, a lot of finishes in that Cage Warrior stint. He was looking good. Stylistically, he's very light on his feet, or at least historically, he's light on his feet. Good kicking game when he throws, not a ton of volume, but when he does land, it is definitely consequential. Um, Very accurate right hand, good jab, but the problem is just not a ton of volume. And what I've never liked about Modestas Bukauskas' game is he kind of gets into the same movement set, and he's gotten countered very badly in a lot of these fights. Khalil Roundtree just got the read on him, was countering him every single time he came in, just kicking the shit out of him. Jimmy Crute, just bomb right hand on the counter. So is Chuck Campbell going to be experienced enough to pick him up on the counter? I mean, his counter striking looks pretty good. And, the other thing I don't like is Modestas Bukauskas does not do a very good job of keeping his opponents off of him. Because, again, just not a lot of volume, kind of looks for the perfect shot. And when he gets backed up, he kind of tends to fall back with his chin straight up. So there's just a bunch of things about his game that just leave him wide open to getting knocked out. And if you look at the odds in this one, we got Chuck Campbell at plus 220, Bukowskis at minus 260. And, I think you just got to have it. Excuse me. You just got to have it that way because, how can you have Chuck Campbell not be plus 220 against a guy with this much experience, given how little experience Campbell has? But man, I could just never bet Modestas Bukauskas at minus 260. I know we got 5 rounds here, so we'll see. But I think that Chuck Campbell can definitely get this one done inside the distance. I mean, Bukauskas, like I said, he's definitely susceptible to getting taken down, but he does have sub game at the same time. He does have some good reversals. I've seen he has very good ground and pound too. So if Campbell does try to take him down and he gets reversed, it could end very badly for him. But I mean, it's mostly just for me is on the feet. Chuck Campbell just he just finds a way to land these heavy shots, and I don't know if Bukowskis is going to be able to take a lot of these shots, especially if he tries to like just fall back with his chin straight up. I can see him getting put out by Chuck Campbell. I also, again, I don't like the entry and the way he gets countered. It's very dicey. And so, yeah, I definitely am taking a flyer on Chuck Campbell here at plus 220. Not super confident. It's just a flyer, but it's just more like I just can't justify minus 260 on Bukowskis in a 5 round fight. Just multiple holes in this game for me. And the other thing that I barely mentioned in this whole thing was against who was it in his last fight? Uh, Against Lee Chadwick, he just kind of looked, not as fast as he used to be. And, that's to be expected. He just had that knee surgery. But, maybe he was just gun shy because it was his first fight back after the knee. And he was just happy to be back and, just taking it all in, a little gun shy. But, if he has lost some speed, that was a big part of his game, especially with trying to get out of the way. So, yeah, I'm comfortable taking a flyer here in Chuck Campbell, and looking forward to this fight. So, thanks for watching, guys. Sure, subscribe and take it easy.